Hello and welcome to Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. In this video I'm going to ask the question, what does Putin want? Now, thing is, Putin isn't in direct contact with me. He doesn't tend to ring me all that often, and he hasn't spoken to me since this war began. Not that he spoke to me much before it either. So I don't really know, I'm just guessing. All I can guess is using what he actually has said. Now, he claimed it was for demilitarization and denazification. We all know that is just a rather weak excuse. They talked about the occupation of all of Ukraine, but what would that mean? Would that mean a land grab and then maybe setting up either a puppet state or a militarily occupied area, similar to what, for example, Hitler did with Poland, where he took the land he wanted and then left a militarily occupied general government? Is that what he wanted? Or is it to absorb all of Ukraine into Russia and then perhaps look for other countries to attack next? Since the retreat from northern Ukraine, the areas to the north of where I am now in Kiev, the tension was focused on the Donbass. We have been led to believe by Dmitry Peskov, for example, that, he hasn't said this directly, he's just suggested it, that they would make do with the Lugansk and Donetsk oblasts and keep them. Also, they want a land bridge to the Crimea, so that would involve the Kherson Oblast, parts of Zaporizhia as well, something along those lines. Perhaps now, just to keep the land they've occupied, to try to capture all of the oblasts of Donetsk and Lugansk, and then to remain on the defensive everywhere else. That actually, I think that is probably what their aims are of Russia now. I cannot see any other potential outcome for them. There may be desire to try and take Odessa, but we can see that is not going to happen. So the destruction of the Ukrainian economy, making it really difficult for Ukraine to export its products, above all wheat, and the consequent starvation of people, possible starvation anyway, of people in many third world countries. Of course, that would make no difference to Putin whatsoever, how many people die for his geographical fantasies. So my belief now is that I think that they must understand that they're not going to capture all of Ukraine. They may be happy to try and destroy as much of the infrastructure to make rebuilding the country impossible. That might be the case. I fear that we are in for a very long war. That a victory, I do not believe that Ukraine is capable at present of getting rid of the Russians in all the occupied territory. It might succeed in getting rid of them in the territories occupied since the beginning of this war. That is possible. But to get them out of all of Donetsk and Lugansk, but more importantly out of Crimea, is I fear just about impossible given current resources. But anyway, that's my opinion. What do you think? I don't know what Putin wants. I think that if we're not in for a long war, he could agree to a peace terms, as he's already done in the past, and then after 2 or 3 years, or 5 years, 10 years, whatever, have another go at it, as more or less is what we have seen as his policies so far to date. So that's my opinion. Thanks very much for listening. I am currently in Ukraine, so if you're interested in this sort of thing, then do subscribe, and if you find it particularly interesting, you might want to become a sponsor on Patreon. Thanks very much.